Good morning. It's Wednesday, time for our couples devotional. We're going to talk about making your wife holy. Marriage principle number one is that love is a choice, not just a feeling. Now, we were looking at Ephesians 5 a couple weeks ago. We're going to pick up there where we left off. A few weeks ago, we talked about wives submitting to your husbands. You can go back and read that again or listen to that again if you need to. But it goes on, and it says in verse 25 of Ephesians 5, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word." Now I'm going to pause right there because we're going to talk about what that means. Holy actually means set apart. And so we're going to encourage you to check out rednotes.org because we're going to go there in today's devotional, and you could click on Marriage Basics there. And when you get there, you can download the Marriage Basics pamphlet. And it looks like this, and it talks a little bit about what holiness means, and my wife Tracy's going to walk you through that.
So holy means literally set apart. So the first thing you want to do is set your spouse apart from even your own parents. So what we mean by that is you need to make sure your marriage is separate from your family of origin, the way you were raised, the traditions you had, the boundaries you had, the relationships and the time you spent together. And you and your spouse need to spend time talking about what does it look like for us and our little family that we're starting once you guys were married. And make sure that you draw appropriate boundaries and that your families recognize that your marriage is separate from them. The second thing you want to do is make sure you set your spouse apart from even your own children. Now, some people always kind of balk at that and wonder, how can that be? But what we mean by that is, as you're active in parenting, which is great, and you partner in that, don't forget about the marriage. Don't forget about date nights, and don't forget that you need to feed your marital relationship that needs to be separate from your kids. The third thing you want to pay attention to is set your spouse apart from other men and women, whether it's coworkers, friends, old friends you have connected with over Facebook, whatever it is. Make sure you have appropriate boundaries, that you're not seeking attention or needs from somebody else that you should be seeking from your spouse. Okay, so the last thing then, the hardest, is setting your spouse apart from even yourself. Pay attention and recognize that your spouse's needs should come before even your own. Now, we have some good homework there, the 5 love languages, which you can read down through that and figure out what that is, but it's a really practical way to understand how to love your spouse in their language, which is a challenge because oftentimes their language isn't yours. But the idea here is that you look to your spouse and say, I need to love you and put you before even my own needs, which I don't know about you, but that is a little bit harder for me to do than to meet my own needs, but to think about Brian and what he needs and want to do that. So those are just 4 practical ways that you can work towards setting one another apart, and start practicing those and go through some of those discussion questions and see how you're doing.
So again, you can find that pamphlet at rednotes.org. It's got a lot more information there and also a bunch of videos that you're welcome to go through with your spouse. And we hope you have an awesome Wednesday. God bless.